I want to talk a little bit about book banning. One of the comments that I'm seeing pretty regularly on the shorts, YouTube shorts that I post about Republican book banning efforts is people commenting and saying banning these books is good because they're only banning pornographic books and books that aren't age appropriate. Let me show you some of the comments that I've been receiving. I won't even name the people. These are just YouTube people with long strings as their usernames. But here are some of the comments. How is banning a porno book on a middle school library fascism? Isn't it at worst censorship based on age? And at best parenting and protecting children from losing their innocence sooner than necessary? It's not fascism if it's inappropriate content for kids. Schlock of God says, no, banning books that are not appropriate for kids is morally correct. JP Music says there's a huge difference between limiting what books schools can have available for kids and removing books from public libraries or not allowing the sale of certain books. JD says, have you looked at the content of the books? Many are pornographic in nature. Dr. Ock says it depends on what books are being banned. Planet Positivity says false when it applies to children. Extremists on the far left and right want their propaganda taught to kids, and both are age inappropriate. Jan says it's critical that parents be able to make these decisions. I don't want the government deciding what my kid can and can't read, but Billy Beans said restrictions imposed by parents are equally bad as restrictions imposed by governments, if not worse. Jay says banning books is not the same as removing non-age appropriate books from elementary school libraries. So I decided to look at some of the books that are being banned, and you can easily find these lists. Pen.org has a list, and here are some of the books that are regularly banned. One is called Gender Queer, a Memoir, and it's about a person who uses pronouns like air and explains why to their family. This one's been banned more than 40 times. All Boys Aren't Blue by George Johnson, which is a series of essays from an LGBT activist that explores his childhood and adolescence. Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez. A dangerous, forbidden romance rocks a Texas oil town in 1937 when segregation was a matter of life and death. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, because it examines our obsession with beauty and conformity. And you can go through these and you can get a bigger list, and this is going to be sort of hard to see because of the Zoom, but you see that there are all these different books that have been banned. Some have been banned by administrators, some have been challenged by parents. You see all these different examples. And I have to tell you, I spent time randomly picking these books, and I went to Amazon and I did the look inside and I read, a number of pages that are available. The vast majority of these books are neither pornographic nor extreme. However, many of them do have storylines that it seems many right-wingers don't like. Sometimes there are gay characters. That's it. So they want the book banned. Sometimes there are descriptions of sexual encounters. And we could have a conversation. Is that appropriate for 7-year-olds? Well, maybe not. But is it appropriate for high school juniors? Yeah, it's fine. In some of them, there are descriptions of non-binary people or whatever the case may be. The overwhelming majority of these books are not pornographic. And it is very clear that a lot of the people saying it's good to ban these books have absolutely no idea what is in the books. I also want to say another thing. A lot of these books don't seem that great to me. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying a lot of this stuff is just personal preference at the end of the day, right? Like what kind of stuff do you enjoy reading? A lot of these books, as I look at them, aren't particularly titillating, but they also don't seem particularly interesting to me. And it seems to me that making a big deal for any reason out of these books just doesn't really make sense. If this is a book that a teacher wants to have in a curriculum, it just seems very strange to get all shaken up about it. And what I was reminded of course, is that the right wingers that want a lot of these books banned are really the snowflakes. They love to say, oh, the left is so sensitive. The left can't handle anything and all these different things. I mean, listen, gay relationships exist. Slavery existed. Brutality existed. Non-binary people exist. And just saying that the inclusion of those as topics is, quote, inappropriate for, quote, kids, particularly when a lot of them don't distinguish between a first grader and a high school junior or senior, they seem to be exposing themselves as the snowflakes that can't handle anything. And, I don't want to go too far down this path, but if you look at historical efforts to ban, so-called degenerate art, as Nazis wanted to do, if you look at all other efforts that we've seen over time from authoritarian-leaning movements and leaders to control media and books and publications, it's really ugly stuff. And quite frankly, it mostly seems to backfire. So take a look at the books that they actually want to ban. Go on Amazon, click on Look Inside, read a little bit, and you will very quickly see that this is not actually about banning porn.